Mina, you're good. You're
I
good.
want
No
to
worries.
ask you, I mean, is that what keeps you going? That is that the gasoline that push you to keep sharing and to be, because it takes a lot of work to have the Facebook, the book, the YouTube, the videos, the podcast, the coaching program. I mean, you don't need it.
So again, just thinking about like my mom and how, she herself struggled to feed 5 children,
Mhm.
and an extra $500 a month for my mom would have been life changing. It would have been, like going to Disney World every day. So the thing that she did not have was she didn't have the information. She didn't have the information. I remember one time I asked my mom, because we had a landlord that used to come around to collect the rent. And he came around and my mother had to negotiate with him because she didn't have the full rent. He was always, accommodating to my mom. And they had known each other for a very long time. And so he would come collect the rent. And he said to her one time, I will sell you the house for $3,000. And my mother denied him selling her the house. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I asked my mother, I said, how much is the rent? I was a kid, I said, how much is the rent? And she said, the rent is $300 a month. So I said, wait, so you can just pay $300 a month for 10 months and the house will be paid for? And she was like, I never thought about it like that, but I don't want this house. But it was only because she didn't have the financial understanding at the time. So if I can just show someone, listen, we're investing in this note. And even if I pay $50,000 today for the note and I sell the note tomorrow and I make $51,000, do you understand that the returns can be so incredible that they can't even be calculated on a calculator? You would need an Excel sheet to calculate it because if the bank sells me the deal and I resell it before I withdraw money from my actual bank account, and I use the buyer's money to make the purchase, that I have no capital at risk. So even if I only made $1,000 on the transaction, it's incredible because I had none of my own capital at risk.
Yeah, that is, when you put it like that is just like duh. But yeah, but just like I feel, like your mom, you just didn't see it like that. I never saw it like that either.
Yeah. So now imagine if I made $1,000 today and I did that 300 times throughout the month. So I can make $300,000 in a month. Maybe I can do that with one portfolio. Maybe
Boom.
I can do that at the beginning of the month, do it in a day or two, and now not have to work any more of the month.
Another personal question: Was your mom? Did your mom? Is she still alive or did she pass away?
Yeah, she passed on.
Was she able to see how successful you became before she went on?
She got to see me about midway,
Mm.
but that midway for her was astounding. She was just like, this is incredible, like what you've been able to do. She couldn't really understand it, but she was like, son, this is incredible. She would just be smiling and, calling me to kiss my cheeks and, but
Oh.
yeah, so I was happy that she could see some of it and benefit, because I told her, after a while, like, you don't have to worry about anything financial.
That's amazing.
Oh, blessing.
What a
Big
what a
blessing.
good son you are, because this country doesn't teach us kids to take care of their parents, unfortunately. I'm an immigrant. I mean, as an immigrant, our parents and our families, everything, we're here to help them, to share whatever we have. And that's not the case in this country sometimes.
Yeah, those core values have been lost
Yeah.
along the way. And we can go into how they're using those values to devalue people so that they can, put people in prison and all that type of stuff. But there's a system. Everything that's happening, there's a system to why it's happening, and somebody somewhere is benefiting from it.
Correct. Totally agree with you.
So as you know, I'm looking to be that financial change that I can leave a mark and a legacy to help someone. And I talked with an investor one time. He was from India, and he told me, he said, my family has been wealthy for 1,000 years.
Wow.
He said, and I can trace back the entire lineage of my family to when the first person started the wealth building process. I want to leave that type of legacy.
That's amazing. Do they like live? They have a historian that follows through with the family lineage.
Yes, yep. The pictures
Wow.
of each person, and they have drawn, some of them are drawings, and he can name all of the generations of people and how they were related. I mean, it was amazing just to talk to him and understand that his family has been wealthy for that amount of time.
That is something that the Rockefellers can be jealous about,
Yes.
can be jealous of. Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's something.
what I learned from him is that if his family can do it, all we need is one. If his family can do it, others can do it as well.
Mm.
It's possible.
Once somebody breaks the line, then the other people realize that, oh my gosh, I can do it too. And I can do
Yes.
it too. Yes.
That
Yes.
is amazing. I still want to talk about your fund because you
Yes.
just blew my mind away when you mentioned $500. I was like, "What?"
Yes.
I was preparing to be, we're starting with, to be accredited investor. And then you mentioned non accredited investors. And by the way, non accredited investors means you don't have to make over 1 million a year or have assets. It's anybody. It's basically anyone off the street, an immigrant, anyone can do it.
Yes.
So, what do people expect when they go into your fund, when they invest in your fund? You said locked for 3 years, but what type of in returns are they will get?
So generally, a person comes in, let's just say a person puts in $500, and
Hmm.
the returns are 6% at $500. We have like a matrix that we use for 3, 5, and 7 years.
Hmm.
And respectively, it's basically 6 to 9%. So
Okay.
this isn't really a fund that you can, like, I'm gonna put $500 in, and then tomorrow I'm going to be a multimillionaire. It was really strange setting this fund up. It took us 3 years of
Wow.
incredible work with the SEC, primarily because my thoughts, I could be totally wrong, but my thoughts is that some of the stuff that they had us going through was simply because I was a minority. You know,
Mm.
they were making it incredibly difficult. And eventually it got to the point where my own attorney said to me, I'm at a loss because we're doing everything that they asked us to do. And he's like, I gotta throw my hands up. I don't know what else to say legally to them to get them to comply. So I started calling the SEC myself, their attorneys, and having conversations with their attorneys, and was able to sway them to give us the approval. So
Wow.
this process was incredibly tough. But again, it's not a, oh, the point that I wanted to make was we were going to pay 12%
Hmm.
returns. And they said no.
What? A
Yes,
government said no?
You're
they
going
said
to be
no.
too attractive compared to everybody else.
Yes, they said because
Wow.
certain financial institutions are, like in the UK, are given negative returns, right? So if you put your money in certain financial institutions in the UK, you actually just are paying them to hold your money. They're not even giving you 0.75% on your money. So you say, well, if we begin to set the precedent with you that you are paying 12% annualized, that's going to totally underrate not only institutions abroad, but domestically as well. So we can't allow you to do that.
Mm.
So I had to fight.
Ahmed, bingo. That's it, Ahmed. That was what was holding them back. This guy is going to start giving away. He's not going to let us hold the power.
This is insane, but at the same time makes so much sense.
Why am I not surprised?
I'm not
Yes.
surprised. This country is amazing. The more I live here, the more I find out, the more my mind just like explodes into
Yes.
little pieces. But the opportunities is so phenomenal in here. It's amazing. And I love what you're doing because that can be given to a regular folks that can come in and just invest in, their capital and make some money. So 6% for 3 years, no minimum, starting with 500. Do you cap anybody? If somebody comes in and says, okay, I have a half a million, will I get more than 6%, or it
Yeah.
doesn't matter?
So immediately, if a person comes in with that type of capital, what we do is we talk about what's known as a side card. A
Hmm.
side card. And a side card allows us to sort of have some flexibility with giving that person a higher return. So
Okay.
it's written in stone, but not really completely written in stone. So on a person like that, we would try to give them, 10%, maybe even 12%. But I just have to run it through legal compliance, which is a simple
Hmm.
email. And, that's why I didn't want somebody just coming and deploying capital without having a conversation with me first.
So if we bring people to you, can we do that?
Yes.
Can we send them?
And
Can we channel them?
yes. And
Okay.
when you do, so the government doesn't allow us to, the government is extremely strict in allowing us, and I know you didn't ask this, but I want to address it. They are extremely strict with allowing us to pay people that are
Hmm.
non-FINRA brokers for bringing capital to the fund. But
Okay.
we like to show appreciation some kind of way. But
Okay.
just
Got it.
leave that right there.
So one of the things that me and Mina want to do is we want to raise capital, and then we have investors and we have owner operators, especially on commercial field, multifamily, industrial space, land acquisition, basically everywhere. And they're looking for deals. And the way I see it is the best deals would be in non-performing notes. I know some state like Florida, it takes forever to foreclose, but states like Georgia and Texas, trustee states, they're easier, like, 60, 90 days. But I don't even want to foreclose. Honestly, I'm like you. I want to work something out with the owner, put them, reposition them somehow and do it better way. So that's when honestly I would want to partner up with somebody that already have relationship with the banks, because like you said, minorities. So back in the day, I told you that I couldn't, you know, make a non-performing note purchase because they wouldn't allow me. So you already have those established businesses and you're doing that.
Yes. So if someone wanted to come in and today and wanted to purchase $150 million worth of inventory, I have it. So the inventory is still flowing
Okay.
completely. So the opportunities are still there,
Hmm.
but the floodgates are about to open as well.
Yes.
We're
Hmm.
we're looking at August, September of the floodgates breaking free and the market being totally flooded. The banks are still holding at least $30 trillion worth of defaults
Wow.
from 2008.
Whoa.
They haven't
2008? Did you just
two,
mention 2008, not recent?
from 2008.
But isn't there is some time that passes if they don't collect, it's non-collectible? You can't
Nope.
even collect it?
It's
No?
all collectible. Now,
Really?
unsecured debt, like credit card debt
Mhm,
and payday loans and stuff like that, they have a statute of limitations, but not
mhm.
mortgages, though.
Uh-huh. Is this for residential and commercial?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow, that's so
Yeah.
mind-boggling. Really?
Oh my god.
Hmm.
Mina, I had an interesting experience the other day. I was showing properties to a family with 2 kids, and we had 10 to see. After viewing about half, the family was getting pretty hungry and they really just wanted to continue the other day.
So what did you do?
I went to my car and pulled out a bag of delicious Rickey Jerky. They loved it so much they were able to continue our day without any issues. All the ingredients are 100% natural, plus every strip is seasoned, marinated, and smoked by hand to give you the best experience and slap you back into the gear. But I need to buy some more.
Oh, just head over to rickysjerky.com and use the discount code Decode REI for 15% off your first order.
So whether you're a busy real estate agent or just looking for mouth-watering snack on the go, Rickey Jerky got you covered.
So, Ahmed, let me ask you. We are part of a multifamily group that is very strong on being conservative, high education, very information intensive, also mindset intensive, where we're responsible for the residents. They are not tenants, they are residents. We are providing homes so that we have to make sure that they are safe, they are in compliance, and we also add some value to the lives of these people that are trusting their families to us. So it's a very wholesome group, Jake and Gino. We are networking stars, like Lydia says. We just like to talk to everybody. That's all it is. And we know people that would love to buy those multifamily nodes. If you ever want to get rid of them through us, Lydia has the brokerage. Yeah, seriously. As long, because the numbers that we look at, they are pretty conservative compared to the dummies that have been buying in the last couple of years that are just stupid money floating the industry. So our underwriting is more conservative, but it's not crazy conservative. It's like, give us a good net operating income per year, and that is something sustainable, and we all have customers to sell those to as well.
Correct. And different price points,
Different states.
different states through the whole United States. Right now we have somebody that looking to purchase 314 unit. Then we have somebody that can do smaller 2, 4, 5, 30 unit. We have people that want to do 1,000 unit. So it's like a rainbow of different people that looking to invest not just in multifamily. We have another group that likes to do industrial self storages, RV, mobile homes, and all the other stuff. So if you come across it, let us know, because we probably have somebody. Heatherly, her man, he's into self storages. And
Okay.
He's the number one self
yeah,
storage holder of the country.
yep,
Yes, but yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. That's phenomenal. And what about residential? Can you guys do residential as well?
We can do residential as well. Again, that's when I come in because I have my own brokerage, plus I have investors. I'm one of the preferred agents for bigger pockets. So bigger pockets people contact me. And if I just mention anything about NPLs, we just did a little bit. So I think, well, with this interview, we're going to break it into 2 parts, Bina, because we have to do a second part. And second part,
It's
maybe we'll
just
do.
really good stuff.
It's just you are like, you're hitting everything that people don't know.
For those that have
Yeah.
ears,
Yeah.
they
Le-
can hear what's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
And you are, like I said, this is something that I touched a little bit, NPLs, and my heart, and I feel like I have a calling on it. And I've been telling few people about it. not everybody knows what it is, because it's such a niche little tiny space that only takes few people, key players. And like you said, it's minorities are not even there.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
again, this is a phenomenal space for women to be in,
Yes.
because women have a caring heart and they're not looking to just go in and rip somebody's property from underneath of them, So this is a phenomenal space. And, I wanted my wife and I to do this so that we could raise our children together without, a lot of the worldly distractions of going to a 9 to 5 and I'm coming home tired and everything like that. So we wanted to use this space as an opportunity to raise, our sons.
That's awesome.
Yes, and that's the blessing in it, that you did it to have time with your family, and then life, the Lord, however we want to call it, just kind of
Hmm.
respected that decision and just fill you with.
And if
Yeah.
if you got to see me and my wife operate together, you would be like, "How are you guys together 24 hours a day, 7 days a week?" Sometimes I get on her nerves and she'll say, she'll give me a look and I'll say, "I'll be back in a couple hours." So I come down to my office or something like that, but yeah, we're together constantly.
But I can see how much you love your wife too. I watched you guys. Like I said, I'm like, he's gonna be in my podcast. I'm bringing her as well because I know she has a lot to say about this man,
Yes.
because she's with him 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are you seeing in NPL? So, what are they selling for? Because back in the day, they were selling 30 cents on a dollar. What on residential side, not even commercial side. So, what is it happening right now? I know it's going to be different in September, October, last quarter of this year, and first quarter of next year. Everything will change. Just what are you seeing right now?
So right now, what I'm seeing 55, maybe 60 cents, but it
Mm-hmm.
it depends on the relationship that I have with the seller, and it also depends on what I'm spending.
Okay.
So if I'm going in to this seller and I'm looking to buy onesie twosies, then the
Mm-hmm.
seller is going to want to charge me 60 cents on a dollar. However, if I'm going in and the seller knows that I'm going to buy the entire portfolio, then I might be able to get it for 40 cents.
So, how big is those portfolios you're talking?
Sometimes they might be 3 to 5 million. That's the space that I like to operate in. I can buy several of those per month and not be stressed out. When we start buying portfolios 50, 60 million,
Mm-hmm.
then sometimes the that can begin to take over my life.
Got it. Yeah, it's a lot of work behind it.
Yeah, just
I
keeping
understand.
track of everything and making sure everything is done correctly. It can take over my life, but I can handle $3 to $5 million chunks, 3 times a month.
Now, when you buy those 5, 6 million portfolios chunks, how long does it take to reposition them and make them performing?
Okay. So with that, let's look at a dozen eggs. If we're looking at a dozen eggs, and my wife is always on me about this. She's like, if she sends me to the store to buy eggs, she's like, check the carton, make sure there's no broken eggs in the carton. When I'm looking at a portfolio like that, my first thought is, of this portfolio, how many eggs are broken? Meaning, is this deal going to take me a long time to work? I'll give you a variable that I look at. When was the last time the homeowner made a payment? If it's been 3 years, 5 years, then I know that this is a broken egg. So that is going to be a loan, maybe a loan that I immediately sell. So if we get a $5 million portfolio, 90% of it might be resold and not where we're looking to get them all reperforming.
Hmm.
It just sort of depends. So this particular portfolio that we're imagining, of that 90%, we might take the remaining 10%. We might have to take 5% of that 10% back as residential real estate. And now we're selling off the real estate. Our model is that we don't want to hold any real estate whatsoever. We'll hold notes, but we don't want to hold any real
Real
estate. So
estate.
if I have to
Mhm.
take a property back, I'm quickly liquidating that property. So out of a portfolio, we might only be holding 5% that we're looking to get reperforming. And we're judging that based on how easy it is going to be for us to get that reperforming. I don't want to be fighting in court. I don't want to be arguing with people on the phone. I don't want that type of energy in my life. So I pick and choose the situations and the battles that I want to work with.
Well, good thing is I work with a lot of people who like to hold. They like to hold properties, notes. I have to educate them. That's why I want to do this recording and send them to your book, to your podcast, kind of little bit touch it, because I believe there would be a lot of these properties are coming up. We're back.
People just don't know about this.
Yes, yes. People don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
And
and when I
yeah.
talked about this 20 years ago, nobody understood what was going on. I'm like, this is what we're doing. And they're like, you can't do that. Like, we're already doing it.
Yeah, that's how I touched 20 years ago. I stumbled into it and I was like, oh my God, there is a whole system and another world into this. Like, I want to know. I want to know what's happening. But of course, I put it on ice because there was life situation. Like you went through life situation. I went through my life situation that affected me, that I had to reestablish everything and back into the career mode. So, yeah, life happens.
One other point that I want to make to you, Lydia, too, is that notes are also being sold internationally. Ukraine pre-war was liquidating a ton of notes.
Really? So there is a market internationally, like in Ukraine, people wanted to pre-war, they were selling them next to nothing. Oh
Is it
wow.
the governments that are selling it?
The banking institutions.
Okay.
I knew
Something is happening because of all the notes are coming from Ukraine. And I believe a lot of those notes were holding by Scotland people, Scottish. Mm-hmm.
billions and billions and hundreds of billions of dollars. They were selling stadiums and all kinds of buildings. And I'm like, something is about to happen in Ukraine.
Wow.
Hmm.
I'm just let me leave that right there.
Hmm. Let it
Well,
percolate on people's
I
minds.
tell you what, financial world will dictate what's happening behind the scene. And how many months was this before the actual
Break
issues happened
Two
in Ukraine?
years.
2 years?
your kid.
Are you freaking kidding me? 2 years? Wow. Well, I tell you what, I have few people in industrial space approached me and they said, "Lydia, we want to buy real estate in Ukraine." I said, "Not now. Hold on a minute. Let it all settle in because maybe it's not going to be Ukraine anymore. Maybe it's going to be Russia. Who knows?
Right.
You never know."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are countries that sell NPLs. At one time, Egypt was a big place to buy NPLs. There are a lot of foreign countries that are in the same market space that are selling deals.
What about the Latin countries? Brazil or
All countries. The only country that is not really in the space that I know of is Dubai.
Mm,
mm,
Yeah, Dubai, you can only own something in Dubai. I think it's 99 years, and then it sort of goes back to the government.
wow.
Yeah, so
Hmm,
Dubai is a place where, because of the Islamic government, they're not really a part of the world financial system because they don't
interesting.
believe in interest and stuff like that. I think Qatar is another place that does not allow that. But
Wow.
Latin countries,
interest all day long, baby.
all day, you can buy up everything.
Hmm. Interesting.
You can buy their mothers if
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 you
they
pay
let
high
you.
enough.
everything.
That's amazing. Is there's conferences? Like, where do you find this information? Like, where is this? Because it's not open to the public, 100%.
Yeah, it's like once you are tied in with the banks, then they'll call me and ask me, "Are you interested in anything in these different countries?" And we have done some stuff abroad, but not a lot because we don't maybe understand all of the nuances of the political system of that country. But we have done some stuff in like Greece. We have some deals and stuff like that in Greece.
Wow.
So interesting. Okay, are we going for 3 episodes or what?
No, we're done. But it's like just so much information.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like, what? All right.
But
Well, we're going to let you go, Ahmed. I know we want to talk more, but, I think we're probably going to overload a typical listener right now. Their mind just going to explode because our focus was decoding real estate investments on multifamily, and I told Mina we're gonna bring in everybody, and then I told her about NPLs, and I kind of like threw some education on her that she went immersing herself in NPL, and she came back, she goes like, oh my god, Lydia, this is
It's like thrift store for houses.
yes,
yeah, three
yes,
stores for
it
houses, yeah.
is.
I love treasure hunting. But you know what? I think our listeners are going to love this topic and they're
Yeah.
going to come back with more questions. And that is great. That will keep the conversation going.
And we'll get them to your fund. I think everybody needs to be in that fund, in my opinion, especially right now. And then we'll talk to you about bigger purchases. We'll bring in. We have already a few people that contact us, so they're like, "What? When is this big thing gonna happen?" I said it's happening right now, but not as much. So I take it you do mostly residential, commercial, not so much.
So mostly residential.
Okay.
However, the reason that I haven't done a ton of commercial is just simply what we call the disposition. So
Hmm.
if we have commercial buyers, mm, that's really like serious, not just tire kickers, but serious people that are looking to
Ahmed.
buy, then I could supply you assets all day long.
Ahmed, you're a godsend to us.